come from, the early settlers were Scottish and Irish, and they brought a lot of the music that I play with them, the hornpipes and the jigs and the reels. The women always played the organ or the piano, and it was a rare thing to see a man play the piano then, when I was a young fellow. Well, I think that they felt the violin was certainly, strictly a man's instrument. When I was young, there used to be an awful lot of these old barn raisings and bees, or whatever you want to call them, frolics, and there the neighbors would all gather, you know, in the daytime, and they would build a barn or a house in the one day, and then at night they'd have this big jamboree dance, you know, until the early hours of the morning. You'd wonder where they'd get enough energy after working hard all day and building a house or a barn to dance all night. And after every dance, they'd have a good swig out of the bottle. It seemed to keep them going. Well, the hours were long. You'd play from 9 o'clock until daylight for the dance, and of course the women folk then would get together and cook breakfast, which then would be consisted of pancakes and pork and home fried potatoes.
In fact, in the old days, back in the famine times, in 40 and 48 and all this sort of stuff, back in that time, when it was a premium to get away on a ship to America, but the only one that could get away on a ship with no much money or with no money was a fiddler. A fiddler had to be on an old ship for to keep the passengers lived on fiddle music all the way over. They had nothing else. That's right. Hundreds of people would have nothing in their stomachs and very less in their heads. And the old queer fellow would fill it with the most beautiful music God ever, and he could hardly have the strength to draw his bow across the whole thing, you see.
That's Irish.
And in fact, most fiddlers I know are a breed unto themselves, sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, a fiddler never belch you with his fiddle. As I'm saying, the fiddlers are a very, very unique breed. Another thing about fiddlers, I find violinists, as they call them today, look at their instrument very intently. But an old fiddler is always looking at the best looking woman in the room and seeing who's the shortest skirt and seeing what they're stacked like, and you know, and looking for something that owes him money and seeing where the nearest point is that he can snatch when there's nobody looking, you know, because most of the fiddlers are so carried away by their art that they have never bothered to make too much money.
It's a triple your bow and grace notes. There's an awful lot of grace notes in Scotch music. And it's hard to play real pipe music on a violin, although there's a good violin like Winston Fitzgerald and Angus Chisholm and all these good Cape Breton players, Sandy McLean and Buddy McMaster and all these lovely Scotch players. They can put this real Scotch music in their fiddling, and that's what brings the music so lovely.
play, like old-time music, with a good, strong rhythm or a beat. Whereas in the western part of Canada, their type of music is more, it's more of a swing. Certainly, it has a different beat to it than what you'll find in the western part of Canada, or even the United States.
The undersigned, a section of the TV audience and viewers in northern Alberta regret and protest against your decision, this is to the CBC, against your decision at the removal of the Don Messer show from your program. Don Messer is probably considered the most popular entertainer on Canadian programs, particularly for elderly people. Is that right?
That's right.
Who enjoy old-time music in preference to any other program. He has entertained for 35 years, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
For 35 years, and his program can be regarded as an institution not to be lightly disregarded. The young folks prefer to go out for the evening, but the older folks are content to watch TV at home and should be considered as your most appreciative audience.
Very good. Very good.
And 250 names there on top of that.
Wonderful.
And on top of that, I'm very glad to have met you.